backing down, 'cause the future is now. Not backing down, 'cause the future is now.
So I love that Sephora values so much about diversity, inclusion, providing a psychologically safe culture for all the employees, much like we do at Leaderology. But I want to hear about you. I want to hear about your values and who is this human in human resources?
Mm-hmm. I'm a mother of two, a wife, an environmental justice warrior.
Environmental justice warrior. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I'm trying to protect nature so that it's around for generations.
For those two kids, yes.
Yeah. And lastly, I'm a team builder, right? So at Sephora, that's my job, that's my role, which I love.
Good.
And psychological safety is something I'm trying to steward, and I take it really seriously. And I've got the backing of a company that makes that its mission too. And I know a lot of companies have stepped up to that challenge, but I would say that it stepped up in a major way. So I think we've seen a lot of social unrest, right, in the past couple of years. And we have our business resource groups, they're called in-groups. And the ones that are focused on each different demographic group had hosted listening sessions. So this is listening and sharing. And it's great that people were being super authentic and sharing the good, the bad, and the uncomfortable.
Right.
And I think we've heard a lot about how powerful it is for there to be representation at more senior levels among executives. What I saw that even push things further in a good way was sharing from executives about their experiences with discrimination, with microaggression, whether it was growing up as a child or later professionally in their careers. That was so powerful for me.
I love that. I love that not only did they create a space for these conversations to happen, but these leaders, these executives stepped into it themselves and were vulnerable and transparent. That's almost unheard of.
Yeah. I think just thinking back to it, like it kind of takes me back, and I'm almost emotional about remembering how emotional that was, because these leaders were being very vulnerable. I saw a human side of them, and it just made me feel really touched that they were willing to do that.
Right.
Without being self-conscious and without worrying about how it looked. It was just them being there in order to support everyone else.
Yeah, it makes them even, I mean, that's leadership, right? That's leading the way and brave and just showing up. Yeah. So I said pick a place, and you pick Salesforce Park. How come?
Salesforce Park. If you look around, I mean, it is lush, right? It's very green. And I've just felt like I needed something that felt like a space away from interruption of city street, waiting for a traffic light to change, bumping into other pedestrians. This is that space away from all of that, where I can really kind of get like a meditative calm and reset. And you're right around nature. I mean, what could be better than that to really kind of calm all the chaos and things that are, you know, in your mind that are competing for your attention. I just love this green space. It's really special to me.
You know, you're on stage, right? You're in HR, so your game face is
all
always
the time.
Yeah.
Other employees are watching you. They're taking your lead. They're looking to you for guidance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I could see that. And you don't want to lose your cool. You don't want to lose your composure. an avid social media junkie, I noticed that you don't post on LinkedIn very often. But 2 years ago, you put up a post that was very poignant, and it said 3 words: "Please be human." Was that a rallying cry, or was that more of a cry for help?
It was more of a rallying cry because I know that for a lot of people, for far too long, they keep their personal and their professional selves very separate, and LinkedIn is that professional space. But at that time, George Floyd had just died.
Been murdered.
We have to acknowledge that. It was really important for me to acknowledge that.
How come?
I think that was one of those moments that forced the whole, if you really want to be an authentic person, then how you show up in your personal life and as a human being should be the same person that you are at work in moments like that call for us to show what we're made of.
Well, and right out on top of that was in San Francisco, there was an enormous amount of Asian hate crimes that were happening that were horrific and painful. And I was wondering, did that figure into that too, or how did you feel about all that was coming down?
So I think that in some ways I went from being an observer from George Floyd 2020 to then seeing it affect members of the AAPI community, myself as an Asian person, this new fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then seeing other people come out with their rally of support. That was impactful. Until you maybe experience it yourself, you don't realize how much it affects you, and that there are also other people who want to come out and support you and your community.
Was it hard to take their support?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
I did have colleagues reach out, and ask the questions that I remember I was asking when the position was reversed. They're asking, "Are you okay? Is there anything I can do?" And I didn't necessarily want someone to do anything other than maybe listen and let me share, and just asking.
Yeah.
was a way of supporting me.
Has it changed you at all?
I think that it's made me recognize some things about myself, like how I'm a product of cultural upbringing, being at the intersectionality, for example.
Right.
All these other roles that I told you that I have, and that people are complicated. But I'm lucky because I'm in a place where, at least in the workplace, for example, people are there to support me, no matter what combination of all those things that I am.
It's fascinating to me as you are raising these multiracial, multi-faith, beautiful children in a scary world. And we've got the AAPI hate and so much anti-Semitism that's on the rise. And as a mother who is bringing these children up in this very complex world, while also being in human resources and raising young leaders up, right? Also in your professional life. I'm seeing that's a heavy burden on you. How do you manage all that?
Luckily, my values at work line up with my personal values, so that's convenient, right? But I really just lead with that sense of responsibility that I have with educating them and exposing them to the different faiths. So we're very busy all year round, celebrating the Jewish and the Christian holidays. But we're really also active members of the community. So we live in Oakland, California, which is very, very diverse.
You have your children in Oakland so that they are surrounded by diversity. You're bringing them out of their bubble,
Yeah.
and you're taking them to City Hall and to the marches and seeing the greater community. You're not just keeping them in their little world.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a remarkable feat, and it's also what the new America is, right? And so you're exposing them to what is and helping those young minds lead the future. And I think it's
Yeah, before they
incredible.
decide for themselves, right?
Right. It's incredibly important work,
I take it seriously.
obviously.
'Cause the future is now.